Good afternoon, friends. Today we will discuss the last unit of international management, that is International Human Resource Management or IHR. So, before discussing this unit, let me first tell you what will be the objectives of our class today. In today's class, our objective is to explain the role and nature of IHR, and we will identify cross-cultural issues in IHR. We describe the process of international recruitment, international selection, international training, and international development programs. We will explain the need and process of managing expatriates and what is the method of appraisal of expatriates. We'll discuss what is expatriates and how their performance is to be appraised. And we will state the objectives, approaches, and components of compensation for IHR or International Human Resources. So these will be our objective today. What is the structure of our discussion today? First, I will give an introduction to IHRM. We'll discuss the meaning of IHRM. Next, we'll discuss role and nature of IHRM. Then we'll define IHRM and its scope. We'll discuss some cross-cultural issues in IHRM. And we'll discuss international recruitment and selection procedure. We'll discuss how to manage expatriates and their training and development methods, their performance appraisal methods. At last, we will discuss international compensation system. We'll summarize our discussion. We'll have some keywords and we'll discuss the self-assessment questions. These will be our structure of discussion. Friends, what is IHRM? Before discussing the concept of IHRM, let me first tell you what is HRM. HRM simply means Human Resources Management. It's the management of the employees of an organization. Nowadays, the employees are treated as human resources. They are treated as assets of the organization. In an international setup of an MNC or MNH, multinational enterprise, human resource play an important role. Human resource management is topmost importance in MNCs because the international firms' competitiveness depends upon the quality of human resource it has. Nowadays, the MNCs has to operate in several parts of the globe. So they have to employ people from different countries. Nowadays, MNCs are relocating their business to take advantage of scale, scope, system, energy. In context of this, the IHRM play an important role because the international business environment is complex. We are in a VUCA environment. We have discussed volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous environment. In this environment, human resource play an important role to bring a competitiveness to an organization. Hence, human resource management is crucial for organizational competitiveness and increasing productivity of the organization. Because the workforce is now globalized. There is diverse workforce in an international firm. And so the importance of IHRM is increasing day by day. So, what is the role and nature of IHRM? Friends, we know that IHRM play an important role in multinational enterprises. Whether it's a small firm or large firm, whether it operates its operation domestically or internationally, IHRM, human resource management, plays an important role. In context of human resource management, we will discuss 4 C's model of managing human resources. What are those 4C model of managing human resource? This 4C model starts with 4 C's: First C, second C, third C, fourth C. 4C model. It's an important question of managing human resource. First C deals with, that is, competence. Second C deals with, that is, commitment. Third C deals with congruence. Congruence. And fourth C is cost effectiveness. These are the 4 C's which are relevant in context of human resource management. So what are those 4 C's? We will discuss one by one. First C related to commitment. Second C, competence, congruence, and cost effectiveness. These consist 4C model of human resource management. So we will discuss this 4C model. First C is competent. The human resource must be competent. It must be competent to perform its task. So we have to analyze how competent our employees are. If they are not competent, do they require more training? And to what extent HR policies attract and retain good people? We know that good people are one important asset for the organization. Nowadays, there is employee poaching. Every organization try to retain their good employees with themselves. Next, second C related to commitment. What is commitment? Commitment deals with how committed our workforce is. Are they loyal to the organization? And are they helping in the development of the organization? How do HR policies promote workers' commitment to job? So we have to analyze the commitment of the workforce. So first, we have to analyze the competence of the workforce. Second, we have to analyze the commitment of the workforce. Third C is congruence. What is congruence? Is there a congruence between basic values and goal of the organization? Congruence simply means making one. Is there a congruence between basic value and goals of the organization and goals of the employees? Does the goal of organization and employee congrue, become ones? Is there team spirit created in the organization? Is the employees thinks that one for all for one? This is known as congruence. Is there something that blinds the spirit of all employees to a single vision, creating an environment of trust and respect for all? So it's all about measuring the cohesiveness of the workforce. How cohesive the workforce is, that is congruence. Fourth one is cost effectiveness. What is cost effectiveness? Are the HR policies cost effective with respect to wage, benefits, absenteeism, turnover, and so on? So these are the 4 major C's in context of human resource management, and all these consist 4 C's of HRM, 4 C's of human resource management. So if workers are competent, what happens? If workers are committed, what happens? If the workforce is congruent, what happens? If the workforce is cost effective, what happens? What is the result of these 4 C's? If high competence of employees, if the employees are competent, what happens? It leads to versatile skill set of employees. It leads to capacity to assume higher roles. It leads to capacity to respond enthusiastically to the external challenge. A high competent workforce will lead to the following things. Second, high committed workforce. What does it bring? A high committed workforce ensures better communication between subordinates and superior. It ensures mutual trust and respect of subordinate and superior. It refers to mutual understanding of the issues of all stakeholders. If the workforce is highly congruent, what does it lead to? It leads to a common purpose for all the concerned. It leads to a common purpose. It leads to a group problem solving aptitude, a collaborative attitude towards problem solving. It leads to concerted and cohesive responses to environmental changes. There will be group efforts created if the workforce is highly congruent. Then fourth one is, if the workforce is highly cost effective, what does it lead to? If the workforce is highly cost effective, then it leads to harmonious relationship among employees. It leads to equitable remuneration and rewards, and there will be very low dissonance among the employees, and it will lead to overall happy working environment in the organization. So the four C's must be addressed while designing the human resource policy of an organization. The four C's are, we have discussed, competence, commitment, congruence, and cost effectiveness. Next, we will discuss what is IHR. If all these human resource management techniques applied in an international setup, that is known as IHR. IHRM is the managing the workforce of an international organization, or it's all about managing the workforce of a multinational company or multinational enterprise. That is known as IHRM. So IHRM refers to those activities that are undertaken by an organization to utilize the human resource effectively in an international setup. So IHRM generally deals with the following activities. First, HRP, human resource planning, requiring the needs of human resource in an MNC. Second, international staffing, which staff will be placed where, putting right person in the right place, that is known as staffing. Third one is training and development. What sort of training is required for employees and how to develop their core potentials. Next, fourth one is performance management, measuring their performance and managing it is performance management. Then next one is compensation and benefits, and the last one is labor relations. If all these activities is done for an MNC or MNH, it is known as IHRM, International Human Resource Management. So it MNH, human resource planning, staffing, training, performance management, compensation, and labor relation function combinedly constitute the scope of IHRM. So we have discussed the scope of IHRM. Next, we will discuss Morgan's three dimensions of IHRM. What is Morgan's? There is an article by Morgan and on development of IHRM, presents a model of IHRM that consists three dimensions. So this is known as three-dimensional model of IHRM by Morgan. So this is known as Morgan's three-dimensional model of IHRM. Morgan's three-dimensional model of IHRM. So what is Morgan's three-dimensional model of IHRM? We'll discuss one by one. Morgan's three-dimensional model of IHRM deals with first model, that is, there are three broad human resource activities. IHRM deals with three broad activities. What are those three broad activities? So first activity, Morgan tells, that is procurement of human resource. Second activity is known as allocation of human resource. Third activity is known as utilization of human resource. So first broad human resource activity is classified into three parts, that is procurement, allocation and utilization. Second, the three national or country categories involved in IHRA. So as per Morgan, there are three country categories involved in IHRA activities. What are those three country categories or three national categories? First one is host country. What is host country? Host country is the country where the multinational company actually work. Its subsidiary is located where, that is known as host country. Let's take an example. Pepsi USA is doing business in India. So India will be host country and USA will be home country. So what is home country? Home country where the firm is headquartered. So there are two countries, host country where subsidiary is located, home country where the firm is headquartered or headquarter of the country is located. And there are other countries. What is other countries? That may provide labor, that may provide finance, that may provide raw material. So as per Morgan's, in IHRM, three countries are involved. What are the three countries? Host country, home country and other country. As per Morgan, there are three activities of human resources. What are those activities? Procurement, allocation and utilization. Morgan tells that there are three types of employees of an international firm. What are the three types of employees of an international firm? It is very important. One is known as HCN, another is PCN, another is TCN. What is HCN? HCN means home country nationals. Host country nationals. HCN means host country nationals. We will take an example and explain it. HCN. PCN means parent country national. HCN means home host country national. PCN means parent country national. And TCN means third country nationals. I will give an example to explain it. Third country nationals. So there are three nationals involved in an IHRM context, IHRM international firm. First one is host country national. Let's take an example. Suppose IBM is a country. IBM is a company. It's headquartered in USA and it employs Australian citizens in Australia. IBM has a subsidiary in Australia, Australian subsidiary, and in Australian subsidiary it employs some people which are of Australian origin. If they employ Australian people here, Australian people, that is known as HCN, home country nationals. So IBM employing Australian citizens in Australian operation is known as HCN, host country nationals. And if they send US citizen, some US citizen work in Australian subsidiary, US is the parent country of IBM, so US citizens shall be known as PCN, parent country nationals. What is PCN? If they send US citizen to Asia Pacific countries on assignment, it will be known as PCN. Suppose IBM recruits some Singapore employees on an assignment to Japanese operations. So if some Singapore people is sent to Australian operation or any other operation, those are known as TCNs. इसका मतलब क्या है, आईबीएम ऑस्ट्रेलिया में अगर ऑस्ट्रेलियन लोगों को नौकरी देता है, वो ऑस्ट्रेलियन लोग जो काम करते हैं उनको बोला जाता है क्या, HCN, होस्ट कंट्री नेशनल। आईबीएम अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में यूएस सिटीजन्स को नौकरी देता है, उनको बोला जाता है पेरेंट कंट्री नेशनल। आईबीएम अगर ऑस्ट्रेलियन ऑपरेशन में किसी सिंगापुर को या जापानीज पीपल को नौकरी देता है, उन लोगों को बोला जाता है TCN, थर्ड कंट्री नेशनल्स। So there are Morgan's theory tells that there are three broad human activities: procurement, allocation, and utilization. There are three countries involved in IHRM: host country, home country, and other country. And there are three type of employees in an international firm. One is HCN, another is PCN, another is TCN. HCN means host country national, PCNs means parent country nationals, and TCNs means third country nationals. So now we will discuss the compensation management of HCN. What is HCN? HCN means home country nationals. Generally, multinational companies coming to a host country, they employ people from there, and that is known as HCN employment, home country, a host country nationals employment. While providing them compensation, we have to follow the rules, regulations of the prevailing government of the host country. We have to compensate them as per the prevailing rules, regulations of the host country. Then we should not discriminate in compensation policy between parent country and host country. However, some specific extra allowance can be provided to two kinds of people. One is known as expatriates, another is known as flexpatriates. So we will discuss the concept of expatriates and flexpatriates. What does these two words indicates? First, expatriates. What is expatriate? Expatriate का मतलब क्या है? Expatriate simply means those employees of foreign nation who leave their country and work in other country on foreign assignments. Those are known as expatriates. Let's take an example. Infosys send some employees to US to work there, and those employees will be termed as expatriates. Let's take an example. Infosys send some Indian people to work in Chinese firm of Infosys, and those Indian people who go to China for working purpose, they are known as expatriates. So expatriates should be compensated little more than HCN. Why they should be compensated? Because they leave their country and go to another country in expectation of some higher salary. Generally, we send the competent people to on-site works. We send competent people to offshore. If we send competent people, they must be compensated well so as to retain them in that country. Next, another concept is flexpatriate. What is flexpatriate? These are certain experts who frequently fly. They are foreign professional who travel at a short notice for a short time duration while maintaining their family and personal lives at home. These are known as flexpatriates. So expatriates must be compensated well, and flexpatriates must be compensated well, little bit more in comparison to HCN. Their compensation should be bit more, but it should not be discriminatory. They may be paid some additional allowances to work in foreign country. So we will discuss how to compensate the expatriates or expatriates in our discussion. So next concept is cross cultural issues in IHL. What is cross cultural issues? First we have to understand what is culture. Then we will go to cross cultural issues in IHL. By culture we means a whole set of social norm and responses that condition a population's behavior. Each and every citizen of a country has some unique culture in him. Culture is something which consists its language, its the way the country of the people of the country work, the way people of the country behave, what are their likings, what are their dislikings, all these things. What is the language, what is their dress sense, what they like, what they do not like, all these things consist of culture. So culture is something which is acquired. Culture is affected by many things. Culture is affected or related to the concept of beliefs. It is related to values. It is related to attitude. It is related to behavior. It is related to language. It is related to non-verbal cues. It is related to communication. It is related to trust. All these things consist of culture. So, in an international firm, people of different culture work together, and it brings the concept of cultural management in an international firm. If you work in an MNC, you can feel that one employee from India, one employee from China, one employee from Japan, one employee from, let's say an example, an European country, UK. All these four employees come from different culture. Their language is different, their way is different, their religion is different, their behavior is different, and we have to manage, we have to assemble all these people and create a team out of it. And this challenge is cultural challenges in case of an international firm. So we'll discuss different aspects of cultural needs. First one is language. Language is an important part of a person's culture. If you work in a foreign country, you must be acquainted with the language of that country. Language will help you to understand the business paperwork properly. Language will help you to understand the tax laws of the country where you are. Language will help you to know the employment laws of the country where you are. Language will help you to know the business laws of the firm of the country where you are. Language will help the managers to make operational decisions of the firm. Hence, it is of prime importance that a manager must speak the language of the host country. He must be able to understand the expectation of the HCNs. He must develop to deal with the concern of the employees before it create a problem. So for an international assignment, you must learn the language of the country where you are assigned to perform your duties. Next one is religion. Religion is an important part of the culture. Religion has a important bearing on culture. It shapes the beliefs, values of the custom of the society. If you understand a religion, you can avoid many challenges. Let's take an example. If you work in a European country, you know that the greatest festival of the Europeans are Christmas. Most of the European people do not prefer to work at least in the second half of December. because they are in a festive mood. They want to celebrate the Christmas. So if you understand this, you can design your workforce, you can assign your duties properly without hampering their sentiments, their religion. So you have to understand the religion of your employees. You have to understand the religion of the country where you are given a foreign assignment. Next thing of the culture is etiquette. What is etiquette? Etiquette is an internal part of any culture. Etiquettes shape a person. Etiquettes shape a particular way of behaving. Etiquettes shape the social guidelines in which one had to think. Let's take an example, color green. It is a favorite color of Muslims. But in Malaysia, the green color is not seen as a sign of good thing. While dining, making sound is a bad manner in German. But in China, if you make sound while eating, it means it's a good thing. You are enjoying the food. Work etiquettes differs. The way you behave in an organization differs. There is a saying that act like Romans while you are in Rome. While you are in China, you have to act like Chinese people. While you are in German, you have to act like German people. You have to understand the etiquette of that country. Next, you have to understand the negotiation skill. Negotiation skill. This is most important. Negotiation means communication, trust of customers of a culture helps in business negotiation. The business negotiations are most crucial business skill. One must have to understand the negotiation skill. The negotiation skill should be in line with the culture and language along with deeper understanding of client's business goals and motives. By understanding this, you should negotiate. Next one is role of culture in IHRM. We have discussed that cultures play an important role in IHRM. In case of a multinational company, people of different cultures work together, and this concept is known as cross-cultural diversity. Cross-cultural diversity occurs in international firms, and you have to manage this cross-cultural diversity. People of different country act differently. Like in case of Japanese culture, there is a concept called collective responsibility. But in case of Western culture, it is based on individual responsibility. The way Japanese and Western people work are different. In case of decision making in Japan, it is more time consuming. But in case of American style of functioning, the decision making should be quick. So people in different country work together, work differently. Their work culture is different. Work is regarded as end in Anglo-American culture, but not in Mexico. Okay, so in case of US, the management culture is democratic, but in case of French, German, Indian management style is more or less autocratic. So developing countries follow authoritarian style of leadership. They believe in authoritarian style of leadership. But developed countries, they believe in participatory style of leadership. So culture of different countries are different. So what are the elements of cross-cultural diversity? The different elements of cross-cultural diversity are as follows. First one is known as spoken language. I have told that language plays an important role. On the basis of language, there is division in the society. Like, let's take an example. In Belgium, two type of language are spoken. One is French and Dutch. And these people, French-speaking people, Dutch-speaking people, their culture is different. In Switzerland, two languages told, German and French, and their culture is also different. In Canada, also people speak two languages, English and French, and their culture is different. So we have to understand the language. Language play an important role in cross-cultural management. Second, unspoken language. What is unspoken language? Spoken language, unspoken language. Language is first part of culture. Second part of culture is unspoken language. What is unspoken language? These are gestures. These are non-verbal language. There are number of ways to categorize unspoken language. They include facial expression, how you should express in your face, how you should walking, how you should walk, posture, hand gesture, color symbolism, proximity, touching, eye contact. Japanese people never speak by looking into the eyes of elderly people. But in USA, if you do not make eye contact, it's something different. In Japan, it is different. In USA, it is different. Smells, jewelry you wear, clothing sense, hairstyle, cosmetics, silence, all these things have some say in the culture of a country. Third, hand gestures. How you gesture in your hand, how you express something. Hand gestures can be very expressive in some culture, but it have different or contradictory meaning in some other culture. Color symbolism, I have told, the color green is a sign of goodness in Muslim countries, but it's a sign of disease in Malaysia. The color red symbolizes love, joy, happiness in China and African countries. But in Nigeria and South African country, it is means red means grief. So you have to manage all these cultural diversity in an international forum, because people from different country come together and work in your organization. So you have to manage the diversity. There are certain enablers for successful management of cultural diversity. What are the enablers for successful management of cultural diversity? We will discuss one by one. First one is strong and visible support from top management. If you want to manage the cultural diversity in an employee in an MNC, there must be support from top management. And it's not a one-time affair. There must be continuous efforts. Trainings must be given to manage cultural diversity. There must be flexible programs for recruitment, selection, training, retention of diverse workforce. Then there must be continuous programs to accommodate the family needs such as crèche, care centers, elderly care centers of the cross diversity people. There must be alternative work schedules like part-time work, job sharing, work weeks, flexi timing. There must be telecommunication opportunities. There must be diversity in training. There must be language training. The employees of MNCs must be provided training of foreign language before sending them to foreign country. There must be mentoring, continuous mentoring. There must be support groups. then there must be career development opportunities which constitute the management of diverse workforce. Next, we will discuss international recruitment and selection. How MNCs recruit and select people throughout the world. What are the approaches they follow? Generally, for international recruitment and selection, people MNCs follows EPRG approach. What is EPRG approach? We have discussed something called EPRG. E stands for ethnocentric approach. Ethnocentric. P stands for polycentric approach. R stands for regiocentric approach, and G stands for geocentric approach. So there are four approaches of international business or recruitment of selection, that is EPRG model, and this model is given by Paul Motter. Paul Motter's EPRG model of international recruitment and selection. According to Paul Motter, the MNCs may select their employees by following the four models. What is four model? EPRG model: ethnocentric, polycentric, regiocentric, and geocentric. First, we will discuss ethnocentric approach of employee selection. What is ethnocentric approach of employee selection? In case of ethnocentric approach, the multinational companies prefer for using home country nationals for all senior positions. So it means here who are given preference? HCNs are given preference. Home country nationals, HCNs, are given preference and rewarding them more generously. No, PCNs, HCNs, no. PCNs. What is PCNs? PCNs means parent country nationals. So here PCNs are provided senior positions and they are rewarded more generously over host country nationals. It means here in key positions you employ PCNs. PCNs means parent country nationals. So there is a discrimination between parent country nationals and host country nationals in respect of power, position, remuneration. So PCNs are provided greater importance than HCNs in case of ethnocentric approach. Second one is polycentric approach. In polycentric approach, the host country nationals are preferred for local position, local units, and greater degree of autonomy in recruiting personnel. It's just the opposite of ethnocentric approach. Here, HCNs are given more preference than PCNs. HCNs are given more preference than PCNs. Okay, the knowledge of local, because if you employ HCNs in local operations, you will get the benefit that they know the local language, they know the local culture, they are acquainted with the local environment. So this is the second approach for employing polycentric approach towards employment of people in case of international business. Third approach is regiocentric approach. What is regiocentric approach? In this case, for a particular region, you employ a people of that region. That is known as regiocentric approach. Let's take an example. An American multinational operations. If, for instance, an American multinational operation in Europe may prefer to have European managers. An American company employ European managers for his business in Europe. That is known as a regiocentric approach. In Europe, there are 27 countries. For 27 countries, European Union, you set up one European manager. The European manager will manage all the 27 countries' business operation. That is regiocentric. For Asian countries, you appoint a Asian manager for Asian countries' business. Then another is geocentric approach. What is geocentric approach? It is based on the philosophy of global approach. In top positions, countries of any country, whether HCN, PCN, or TCNs, are preferred in geocentric approach. The best employees are employed. They may be TCNs, they may be HCNs, or they may be PCNs, or they may be TCNs. Which is best you employ? You recruit, make recruitment, you make global recruitment. You can recruit people from any part of the globe. That is known as geocentric approach of international HR. Next, managing expatriates. What is expatriate? I have already told what is expatriate. Expatriate is a home country. Expatriate is a home country or third country national which is assigned to a host country for managing business operations. If for the purpose of business, a foreign national is sent to a home country national is sent to a foreign country for doing business, that is known as expatriates. In case of India, many IT expatriates are working in US, UK, or any foreign countries of Infosys. So why you send expatriates to foreign country? Because of certain advantages associated with expatriates. What are the advantages associated with expatriates? Expatriates have necessary technical and managerial skill. Expatriate enhance communication between parent country and foreign subsidiary. Expatriate is more familiar with corporate culture, vision, mission of the parent country. Therefore, the parent country send expatriates, and expatriates are assigned foreign post and become international managers. Then what are the disadvantages of using expatriates? If you use expatriates, there will be some disadvantages. First, they are normally paid higher to HCNs. Host country nationals, for they require a special training before sending to foreign country assignments. They require work permit. Without work permit, the expatriates cannot work, and they do not enhance the firm's local image. So expatriate may block promotional opportunity for local employees. So these are the disadvantages of expatriates. Okay. Next, what are the points which are considered while selecting expatriates? While making selection of expatriates, we have to consider his technical ability, his cross-cultural suitability, his family requirement, his country cultural requirement, his M&E requirements, whether he knows the language or not. All these things we have to consider while selecting expatriates. Next, expatriates must be trained before sending on foreign assignment. That is known as expatriate training and development. What are different type of training provided to expatriates before sending him to foreign assignments? The training can be of two types. Two types of expatriate training. One is pre-departure training. This training is given before the employee leaves his home country. Before leaving his home country, pre-departure training is given. And another is post-departure training, that is known as HCN training. That is after the employee join the firm, the training is provided. Next, what are the components of pre-departure training? The pre-departure training consists the following components. First component is cultural awareness programs. We have to make him aware of the area of the foreign country, culture of the foreign country, language of the foreign country. We have to sensitize him. We have to give him fixed experience, a field experience before sending on. What is the expatriates are sent to foreign country. Next, we have to give them another two type of training. One is known as preliminary visits. We have to send him to some areas in home country which are similar to foreign country. Next, we have to acquaint him, give him language training. We must be acquaint him with the language of the host country, of the foreign country where he will work. Otherwise, he will face cultural shocks. Next, how to appraise the performance of the expatriates. So, how to appraise? How their performance are measured? Generally, the performance of the expatriates are measured by following two methods. First method is objective appraisal method. Second method is judgmental appraisal method. So there are two methods of measuring performance of expatriates. The objective appraisal methods involve such objective or quantifiable outputs such as sales volume, units produced, scrap rates, and so on. So in this case, the expatriate has to score some form of standardized performance test. And on the basis of this, we appraise the employees. Next, there are certain demerits of this appraisal. First, what are the demerits? First, these data may not measure the performance related to important organizational goals. And second one is, this data may be subject to opportunity bias. And what are the judgmental approach? The judgmental approach of performance appraisal are, first one is checklist, second one is graphic rating scales, third one is behavioral anchored rating scales or bars. So these are three methods. Checklist. In case of checklist, it is the simple method of evaluating the performance of the employees. Here a checklist describe the worker behavior with short phrase or adjusted, and the employee has to fill up yes or no. Graphic rating scale. In this case, along with the checklist, a rating scale is there, and you have to rate it 2, 3, 4, 1 to 5 rating. You have to rate. And the last method, which is most scientific and sophisticated method or rating scale, that is known as behaviorally anchored rating scale, bars. So according to Wikipedia, bars are normally presented vertically, wherein scale point ranges from 5 to 9. Bars can be effective tool for performance appraisal. So there are three methods of measuring the performance of the organism. What are the criteria used for performance measurement? The three criteria are there. One is there may be hard goals, there may be soft goals, there may be contextual goals for performance appraisal of expatriates. Next, we'll discuss how the compensation is paid to expatriates. What are the approaches of providing compensation? So there are two approaches of providing compensation. One is going rate approach, and this is also known as market rate approach. In this case, the compensation is based upon local market rate, relies on survey of companies, and it is related to compensation based on selected survey comparison, and it consists of basic pay, benefits supplemented by additional pay for low pay countries. And second method of providing compensation to expatriate is balance sheet approach. And the balance sheet approach, in this case, the maintenance of home country's living standard for financial inducement is the basis for making compensation to expatriates. Here we consider home country pay and benefits of benefits, and we adjust to this home country pay to balance additional expenditure which the expatriate has to make in the host country, and we have to include the financial incentive, something extra paid to the expatriate, that is known as expatriate premium or hardship premium. and this is the most commonly used method for making compensation to expatriates. Generally, the compensation to expatriates consists his basic salary, his foreign service inducement or hardship premium. This is most important. He is provided some allowances like cost of living allowance, housing allowance, home leave allowance, educational allowance, relocation allowance, spouse assistance allowance, and he may be provided with other benefits such as perks. So these are the discussions on international human resource management. In today's class, we discuss different aspects of human resource management. We discuss regarding 4 C's of human resource management. We discuss 3 type of employees like HCN, PCN, TCNs, and we discuss cross-cultural management techniques. We discuss how recruitment, compensation, performance appraisal are done in context of expatriates. So these are some of the key words used in our discussion today: IHRM, expatriate, 4C model, cross-cultural diversity, PRG model, ethnocentric, polycentric, geocentric, regiocentric. We have discussed regarding performance appraisal, and we have discussed judgmental performance appraisal. So these are some of the important self-assessment questions which you must answer after attending the class. And at last, I am giving some reference material for further reading on IHR. Thank you. Thank you all for attending my class. Thank you.